Sometimes when I'm writing a script for one of these videos, I can be very confident about what I intend to talk about. But then, after a bit of research, I feel that I know even less than I did when I started. Sometimes my research raises more questions than it answers. But let's begin at the beginning. I'm making this video to complain about this. This is the Wikipedia entry for what it claims to be Berlin Cathedral, but it isn't. Looks impressive, and you might think it ought to be a cathedral, but no. Officially, it is the Supreme Parish and Collegiate Church of Berlin. A cathedral is very specifically the seat of a bishop. In the Catholic and Orthodox traditions, a bishop is a kind of an area manager in charge of a diocese. So all the priests and all the churches in the diocese have as their boss the bishop, and the church where the bishop is based is the cathedral. But this so-called Berlin Cathedral is a Protestant church and is not the seat of any bishop. The problem is the German word Dom, which is frequently mistranslated into English as cathedral, but not all buildings described as Dom are cathedrals. In fact, here's a list of some of the buildings called Dom in German. On the left are cathedrals, and on the right are churches that are not cathedrals. There is a cathedral in Berlin, but this isn't it. It's a much smaller building, hidden behind the Opera House, and is the seat of the Catholic bishop. That is the cathedral. The other place is just a really big church. At this point, I turn to my trusty old etymological dictionary for help, and it tells me that Dom is the seat of a bishop. Wait, what? It traces the word back to the Latin phrase Domus Ecclesiae, which translates as house of the church, and originally described the residence of a bishop, and then the church the bishop preached in, which makes absolutely no sense at all given the number of dom which are not cathedrals. Another reference gave me a slightly different derivation, although with basically the same meaning, but adds that after the Reformation the use of the word expanded to mean any large church. Wikipedia, however, says that it was originally an abbreviation of several different phrases beginning with domus, including Domus Ecclesiae, but also Domus Dei, which means house of God, that is, any church of any kind. Unfortunately, Wikipedia doesn't name any sources. So it's all a bit messy. But it's about to get messier because at some point the French language gave to German its word Dom, meaning, well, dome, and that also ended up in German as Dom, although that's not the usual German word for it. So in Berlin, as well as a cathedral that isn't a cathedral and a church that is a cathedral but you'd never guess it, there are two domes. I am referring to the French dome and the German dome. Guidebooks often call these cathedrals, but they're not. In fact, they are literally just the domes. The churches underneath those domes are the French Friedrichstadt Church and the New Church. Even using the German word Dom to describe the churches is incorrect. So what do we learn from all of this? Well, first of all, sometimes the more you find out, the less you know. That's not something I expected to learn, but there you go. Second, the big church you're looking at may be a cathedral, but it might not be. If somebody tells you it's a cathedral, it might just be a mistranslation. And third, I really need to do something more productive with my time. This is ridiculous. Bossum? Nein, ich habe keine Ahnung, was das ist. Sie haben wahrscheinlich irgendwie eine falsche Nummer erwischt.